What is going on, guys? The Macho Man Matty Savage here from the SmackTalk team, inspired by the one and only Dan Go's top 3 SmackDown takeaways, and inspired by the return of Raw Talk. Macho Man Matty Savage is now here to give you his top 3 takeaways from last night, June 8th, Monday Night Raw. Getting right into it. First one on my list, Andrade, Angel Garza, and Kevin Owens. Shout out Kevin Owens. Those 3 put on a hell of a match. Unfortunately, it was to determine who was going to take on Apollo Crews at Backlash this Sunday. But nevertheless, great matchup. The 3 had such great chemistry throughout. Unfortunate for my man KO because he just can't get it going as a babyface right now. Thinking he's going to head back to being a heel very soon. But talking about the U.S. title picture, Apollo Crews, just not feeling it. He's stale as a babyface. He's never been able to get over with a crowd. So I'm interested to see how this works out when WWE can't have an actual crowd instead of that garbage that they're putting out there. AEW is doing way better on that, by the way. Is Apollo Crews even going to be the United States champion by the time WWE can have a crowd again? Who knows? Andrade might take the belt back this Sunday, and I wouldn't be mad at it. Number 2 on my list, Christian's Peep Show. And I think a lot of the universe, including myself, were very surprised at how Christian kind of went at Edge, when at the end of the day he was just trying to encourage him to be able to fulfill beating Randy Orton in the greatest wrestling match ever at Backlash. I like the twist from Christian. I don't like this version of Edge. Edge just fought 45 minutes at WrestleMania against Randy Orton and won. What difference is just a wrestling match going to be to me? More wrestling, obviously, but other than that, we know what Edge is. We know what he's capable of. Yeah, it's been 9.5 years, but he already proved at the Royal Rumble and at WrestleMania that he still got it. So him playing this gimmick of, I don't know if I can do it, I don't know if I can get on board with that. And honestly, this type of character would be what a crowd would get against really quickly. So watch out there. But Randy Orton killed the promo. He has been carrying the company. He's been one of the main guys, as you all know. I think he absolutely crushed his interruption of Christian's Peep Show. And if you're wondering who is going to win that match, what my prediction is, you're going to have to watch the People's Podcast returning this week for our predictions episode of Backlash. So you can hear my pick there. Number 3, I'm going to put a double on this one. Shout out to Raw Women's Champion Asuka and Charlotte. Those 2 put on double duty, had a tag team match against Nikki Cross, Alexa Bliss, and the Iconics not the Iconics, Sasha and Bayley, to kick off the show. And then they main evented the show against each other. Great chemistry, fantastic match, definitely match of the night. Angel Garza, Andrade, and KO, definitely right behind you though. But great match between the 2 of them. Very predictable finish with Nia Jax coming out and distracting Asuka, costing her the win. But I think Nia Jax is just a stepping stone towards Asuka's next feud, which I think we just got foreshadowed on that against Charlotte. Charlotte's playing the gimmick of she is the best, and she is. She's the best women's superstar of all time in my eyes, and she is playing that gimmick perfectly. So I'm on board with seeing an Asuka versus Charlotte feud for the title for sure, especially because Asuka's never pinned Charlotte. And lastly, Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley. Honestly, I'm on board with this. I think MVP is the perfect mouthpiece for someone like Bobby Lashley that struggles on the mic. I can definitely see a potential title change. So stay tuned for the People's Podcast again this week when I reveal my pick for that match. Stay tuned. Real quick before I go, just want to talk about one big disappointment to me from this Monday Night Raw, and that is the Viking Raiders. These guys crushed it in NXT. They came up and they looked like they were going to be crushing it on the main roster, and now they're just becoming a comedic act with the Street Profits. Granted, the decathlon this past week was pretty good. It's just unfortunate because then the Viking Raiders had to face Bobby Lashley and MVP and took the L. Doesn't look good for them. So hopefully WWE can get that straightened out. Overall show grade for me, being that it is the go-home show for this Sunday's pay-per-view Backlash, I'm going to give the show a solid B+. It kept me entertained all night. Everything kind of came together. Everything made sense. B+. So with that being said, that's going to wrap up Macho Man Matty Savage's 3 Raw takeaways. Make sure you guys hit the social media below. Subscribe to our YouTube. We got to get those numbers up. But stay tuned for this week again. People's Podcast is coming back. The full SmackTalk team will be here to hit you with our predictions for this Sunday's Backlash.